Hi, everybody. We're back to Fida Talks, and we're joined here by Millie O'Connor. She was the overall student winner. And before we look at her work, it'd be interesting just firstly, because did you enter a few pieces? I think there was a few pieces, but
Yeah,
this was the one that I guess caught our eye. What was, you can explain a bit more about it in a minute, but there's been a lot of discussion about ageism in fashion. And I don't know if you thought about that topic, but it was a big topic and about this sort of lost generation and that why can't old people be cool? There's been this sort of discussion on LinkedIn. I hear lots of people speaking about it. And so it was really nice that you sort of picked up on that point and had this sort of cool looking person, and it felt quite documentary based. But you might have had a totally different reason. So I guess for you, you could explain the piece, why you did it. Was it someone, where you got the reference and so on? So anyway, over to you.
yeah, no. So it was sort of linked to that, I guess. That kind of came into it, but so it sort of stemmed from my collection idea is based on the idea of sort of like imperfection and how that can be beautiful and not just like the standard types of beauty. Sick of sort of like perfect imperfect
I'm thinking it's gone.
and you wearing, what I was making in terms of like I didn't want them to be just the standard types of beauty. I wanted to like bring different, unique looking people into it. So yeah, it sort of stemmed from that. And like I think having more like interesting people wearing more interesting clothes, that's the sort of idea. Um yeah, so that was where it came from.
Yeah, I guess it's always interesting to, especially when you're doing your collections,
Yeah,
your final collections, um, who well, it isn't just a commercial piece.
yeah,
It's a piece that says something, has a statement, and fashion communicates something very different rather than what sells in the shops.
yeah.
So, usually when people look at collections, they're always thinking, is this a ready-to-wear collection? And they don't have a very good scope about fashion, where
Mm,
fashion, if we think of Margiela and we think of Galliano, Raf Simons, who
yeah.
really are great communicators, and they think about the concept of fashion. Um, it, it it's a very big conversation, I think,
Mhm.
fashion, and it's
Yeah,
nice that it has. It's nice that the students are really embracing fashion from a different sort of viewpoint rather
yeah.
than from a commercial point of view. So it's good to open that dialogue. I think
Mhm.
that's what's quite an interesting space. And then
Yeah.
obviously when you leave uni, then reality kicks in, and
Looking forward to it.
you have to think of the commerciality of fashion, and
Mm.
I guess it kind of swings in roundabouts. But at
Mm.
least I guess the inner workings of what a fashion brand could be and how you can actually think about it from a different angle. So it's quite nice. So I'm going to bring up your piece of work so we can see your entry.
Yeah.
Um, Let me just make that big so it's full screen. And there was a really, I guess, quite playful use of colors. Did you use Photoshop on this?
Yeah, so I actually started with just the head. I drew him like quite large, and then I wanted to obviously make it a fashion illustration. So I then found bits of images that I like assembled together on Photoshop. So I actually photoshopped the head onto the body, and then I added the color afterwards. Yeah.
Mm. And were they drawn at different scales? Because now looking at it, I'm assuming that the body was drawn a little bit smaller than the head.
Yeah, it was. It was sort of they were sort of both on A4, but the head filled the page. So
Yeah. you
Yeah.
can see the detailing of the sort of
Exactly.
the pencil marks are a bit different on the body. Only now looking at it, now you've mentioned it,
Mhm.
when you kind of scan in stuff that's really big and bring it down, it makes the details really sharp.
Yeah.
And your, I guess your garment is treated a little bit different, which is quite nice anyway. It gives a sort of rustic feel to the drawing and the effect.
Yeah.
And I from a, because you're a fashion designer, um, how does drawing inform what you do as a designer?
I mean, for me, I mean, everyone sort of does it differently, but it's sort of like a major part for me because I sort of sketch whatever I see. And I think from sketching, you kind of get to know the details of what you're drawing. And you can really like analyze areas as you're drawing it, and you can get ideas just from that. So like for me, I think it's a major part. It plays a big role.
And do you change your process of drawing according to how you could design, like collage, or using different processes to think
Yeah.
differently?
Yeah. I mean, um, I do collage sometimes. A lot of the time, it kind of works more for men's where I feel, for me personally. So I sometimes do sort of just collage random images together and draw then from that, or I'll go straight from, a primary image that I've taken, or even just sat drawing. But it is majorly a lot of sketching for me. I do like graphite. I don't know why, it just works.
And we have a lot of illustrators on here who were previously fashion designers, so they go through the journey of becoming a fashion designer, and then they realize, well, it was the drawing that was really the thing that was really shone for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, now you're in your third year, you're doing your fashion design course.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, or will you try and keep the two incorporated, or you don't know yet?
Oh, that's a big question. I've thought a lot about it recently. I'm not 100% sure just yet, but I do think that for me, illustrating is a big part of what I do, and it's a lot of the reason why I love it anyway. So who knows? I'm not sure.
Yeah, and well, a lot of the, I guess a lot of the illustrators go into textiles. They start drawing print design and incorporate a lot of print design into what they're doing as a, I guess, as a fashion designer.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess the thing I'm kind of getting at is that a lot of people don't seem to connect the two. They sort of disconnect and go, I'm either an illustrator here or I'm a fashion designer, and they're sort of moving away, where a lot of illustrators became designers. If you think of Karl Lagerfeld was an illustrator.
Right.
We've been working with Holston, and Holston, he was an illustrator for Balenciaga.
Yeah.
So a lot of illustrators do become designers
Hmm.
because they understand. And when we've had different people speak who understand fashion, if you're good at drawing, you really understand the dynamics of form of fashion.
Yeah.
That's quite an interesting. So I guess informing yourself through drawing has become, and I guess it's a little bit of therapy away from pattern cutting and
Oh,
making.
definitely. Yeah.
It's a break.
I find it a lot less stressful. You can sort of just sit down and like hone in on one thing and just not really take your mind off it for a while. And then you come into the real world again. But yeah, it is therapeutic, I think.
And we've noticed another thing is that um, people might do an illustration of the design, then make the design, and then they have it re-illustrated. And we're working with Ungaro in Paris,
Oh yeah.
and he never illustrated his designs, only after.
Yeah.
So it seemed quite a backwards approach, but
Yeah.
he felt that the illustrations captured the essence of, because he worked direct like a sculptor, direct
Mhm.
on the dummy. Um, I guess that would be interesting to see, like your collections re-illustrated after being made, how
Yeah.
you would redraw them and capture them.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be good to see. Kind of
I
think.
I often do that instead. Actually, I do take that approach instead of fully illustrating before. I sort of like will get images. I did it last year for my second year final project where I got some images and movement in the garment so I could see how it really works. And then you can like properly illustrate from that because you understand it a bit more.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit like a sculptor.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
make a sculpture, then he goes away and like Henry Moore did it. You know, lots of sculptors sort of worked. Giacometti did it,
yeah.
worked from reference, and then made the sculptures, then worked back, and then it was like a 360 cycle.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess from a well, firstly, well done. Secondly, well done to Leeds. I'm trying to. I don't know if Caroline's your tutor. Is she one of your tutors?
Yeah, she is.
So you've been totally immersed in drawing
Have.
1000%,
Yeah,
which
and helpful.
which is it's good to see because a lot of colleges are either going more down a 3D route
Yeah,
and ignoring drawing, and it's great to see Caroline. I don't know. A lot of people feel like it's very out of date or old school or not. The innovation isn't there, but I think drawing will inform even if you're becoming a 3D designer anyway.
yeah.
So I guess is it. So has that drawing session really helped with Caroline?
Yeah, yeah, we did I remember doing one back in first year with Caroline and that I really loved it and I thought like I was so excited to do more of it. So it sort of like took that and like developed that through the years and then she's only just become our tutor in final year. So um yeah, her and Nicola together they sort of yeah work with illustration. We've done one recently where we had models in the studio just like on some stands and we got to just live draw, you know, different outfits, which is just brilliant. I think it helps a lot of people like get over the fear of just starting on a blank page because they just say, you know, just go for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to see, and it's good to see it sort of being sort of brought back into the education system. I think that's quite important, and it's a bit more fun. It makes it not so serious, and
Yeah.
um, I think it's good for the students to understand the whole dynamics of the fashion system. It
Yeah.
isn't just about designing; it's really understanding all the little areas and lots of the luxury brands. Like if you were we and me and Caroline have spoken about this. A lot of the luxury brands require that you draw. They
Mm.
want you to draw. That's become a big because of portfolios are becoming quite homogenized. Everyone's
Mm.
using either Illustrator or Photoshop or don't know how to draw a figure
Yeah.
or mark something down. So it almost has a USP to it as well. So
Yeah.
someone sees your portfolio, it will really shine out. So it'd be
Yeah.
fascinating to see your growth, and I
Yeah.
guess your final piece and your final work, and how you let them bounce off each other. I think
Yeah.
that's that I'll have a close eye on what you're doing anyway. So
Oh.
it will be interesting to see, and I'll be talking to Caroline as well. So
Yeah.
don't you this is the beginning of the conversation,
Yeah. It really is.
which is good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, Millie. Well, thank you. And I know you're
All
a
right.
busy person like everybody. And
Are
we
you?
said we'd keep it short and sweet. And thanks to Leeds and thanks to you. And it's great. It was a great piece of work and it felt very sort of current and on topic for what's going on at the moment in the world. So excellent. And I look forward to seeing your show and your final work and where you go from here and how you kind of intermix the two. Because we have lots of fashion designers who've come and gone and come back again and been illustrators and designers. So it's nice to see them sort of dancing around and doing stuff. So it's great work. But keep up the drawing. Uh, Fantastic work,
Thank
and
you.
I look forward to seeing your portfolio.
Yeah, I'll send it straight your way.
Good. Thank you. Thanks, Millie, and
Thank
have a
you.
good day. Thank you.
You too. You too.
Bye
Bye.
bye.